Hi, my name is Suzanne Atkinson. I'm an author and I live in Bedford, Nova Scotia. For those of you who haven't seen one of these videos before, I have created a series of videos to take the place of readings for people who can't attend readings when I'm promoting my books. This is my 5th reading, and it's from the book Segue House Connection regarding Hayworth Book III. It's the 3rd novel in a mystery series set in a small and fictitious town called Hayworth, Alberta. The theme of the book is unintended consequences and how what you say or do affects those around you. Segue House Connection is available through Chapters, Amazon, Kindle, Kobo, iTunes, anywhere you can order books or download books, from any bookstore or from me. It's stocked in some Chapters stores in Halifax, and it's also stocked in Chapters stores Edmonton and North. I'm going to read you the synopsis, a couple of inspirational quotes I always put at the beginning of my books, and then a few bits and pieces from the beginning of the book. I hope you enjoy. Shelter is defined as refuge, sanctuary, or a place of protection. Segue is defined as transition. In this 3rd book of the Regarding Hayworth series, the women's shelter known as Segue House is the setting in Hayworth, a small town in northern Alberta. You will be reintroduced to Ronnie Atang, the mysterious counselor with the vague family history. Ava Burway, the manager, has created a home and family for herself in a run-down apartment building. And Maggie Woodworth, the childlike bookkeeper. You will also meet Sheila Pascoe, the overnight security guard, distant and antisocial while longing to be loved. Segue House is a shelter for women and children seeking escape from violence and abuse. Segue House also serves as sanctuary for the connecting force that ultimately threatens to undermine the safety and security that has become so important in their lives. Segue House Connection examines the unintended consequences of behaviors when lives intersect by chance. So, I always start books with a couple of quotes just to get you in the mood. So here are the quotes I chose for this book. Trust no one, tell your secrets to no one, and no one will ever betray you. That was said by Bigve Volsi. Whether we appreciate it or not, we live our lives surrounded by an intricate pattern of social connections. We're all embedded in this network. It affects us profoundly, and we may be unaware of its existence, of its effect on us. This was said by Nicholas Christakis. The world does not have tidy endings. The world does not have neat connections. It is not filled with epiphanies that work perfectly at the moment that you need them. And that was said by Dennis Lehane. So we will start at the beginning, Chapter 1. This chapter is Ronnie. Avoid panic. Assess your situation. Assess your injuries. Assess your surroundings. The personal protection mantra, repeated over and over in her self-defense classes, finally penetrates her fear. Ronnie keeps her eyes closed. She is on her back on a bed. Her hands are by her sides. The rough blanket beneath her scratches her arms. Her feet are without her sandals. Her sleeveless blouse and capris remain on. Her ever-present neck scarf is gone. Why is her shoulder sore? The air rests against her body like a warm towel on a hot day. She listens and analyzes. There is no sound except the drone of a fly nearby. She opens her eyes a fraction. If he is there watching her, she is certainly not ready for him to know she's awake. She sees the inside of a shed or cabin and the framing lumber of upper walls and ceiling. There are horizontal boards but no insulation between the studs. She focuses on her breathing, in and out, in and out. Avoid panic. Maybe he won't hurt you. Finally, she opens her eyes. She is not tied up or held down, but flaked out on a rusty cot with a wool blanket, blue, scratchy, and certainly not needed today, underneath her. No one else is there. As she struggles to sit up, her head spins. She tries to remember what happened. Time for reflections later. Keep assessing. Keep assessing. The room is about as bare as any prison cell, but still geared to sustain life. There is the cot. There is a piece of wide and rough-hewn lumber nailed with spikes to the vertical studs of the opposite wall. This is what serves as a makeshift counter. It holds a plastic jug of presumably water and 2 large bags of potato chips. There is a jar of peanut butter, a box of Ritz crackers, and a plastic knife. There is a paper cup. 1 window and 2 doors break the flow of interior walls. The door across from the bed has bars, like jail bars you see in the movies. They're installed on the inside. The window on the adjoining wall is barred as well and has a small piece of wood in the bottom frame. She is able to fit her fingers through the bars and lift up the slat to reveal 3 holes. More hot but fresh air drifts into the room. She tries to rattle the bars in a futile attempt at escape. She knows better. The view is of bushes, a high, leafy tangle of branches. Ronnie guesses what's concealed behind the second door, located on the same wall, because of the smell of lye oozing out from under the rough lumber threshold. The space is a lean-to outhouse, protruding through the wall just to the left of the bushes. She opens the door with caution. Her hand trembles. He might be hiding inside. The 1-hole privy has a toilet seat and cover screwed to the top of the aged wooden bench. Rolls of toilet paper are stacked in the corner. She is confined in a cabin somewhere beyond Hayworth. They will know something is wrong because she was a no-show at her meeting. They'll know when they find her car, when she fails to appear for work tomorrow morning. They will search for her. Surely someone noticed what happened. Her head aches as she tries to remember. What did he give me? Her alarm rang at 6. The drive to Carter River takes a couple of hours, and she wanted to get an early start, permitting time to stop at the petrol can and have coffee. She likes to break up the 2-hour drive, but still be at a meeting in reasonable time. Today she was scheduled to sit down with her provincial counterparts in northern Alberta, other councillors from women's shelters. The focus of the meeting was to be funding sources and local statistics of women and families served in the first 6 months of 1984. Her successful fundraising efforts in the name of Segue House served to grace her with a spot on the agenda. She left Hayworth at about 8 that morning in her second-hand sedan, a black Buick Regal 2-door V8 with rear-wheel drive. The previous owner was one of the undertakers at the local funeral home. The car is a monster and not worth a damn in the winter, but great fun to drive when the weather is good. Today was glorious in the way August can be, with a cooler morning, but a promise of a hot and sultry afternoon. Traffic was light on the westbound highway to Carter River, a town about 3 times the size of Hayworth. Carter River has benefited from the oil boom. There are plenty of jobs, even as business has slowed down a bit with the rise in interest rates. There are all kinds of shops, new subdivisions, and no shortage of opportunities for people in the trades. Hayworth has never seemed to catch on in the same way. The scenery between the 2 communities consists primarily of canola and wheat fields, sprawling farms and cattle pastures. The hay is being cut and fashioned into square bales dotting the field like some kind of random board game. The azure blue sky meets yellow canola fields in straight lines along the horizon, vivid, stark, and endless. His gait was rolling and confident. She failed to recognize him at first. Once her brain accepted the fact it was him, she couldn't put her thoughts together or figure out where to focus her eyes. She kept her face toward the table and hoped he wouldn't recognize her with this short platinum hairstyle. His appearance could be a fluke, but this hope proved futile. He saw her right away and sauntered over to the table as if they had intended to meet there, in this place, all along. Duncan Taylor had become a different man in the 4 years and 4 months since she last saw him. He was always tall and lean, not exceptionally attractive, with a face shaped like a garden trowel and slightly protruding teeth, and clean cut. He used to have straight brown hair. His head was shaved now. He looked more muscular, bigger. Prison would give a guy motivation to work out. So that's what I'll share with you about Ronnie today. I want to tell you that the last video that I'll be doing this year will be Diner Revelations regarding Hayworth Book IV. It's the latest novel. It's right here. It's just recently become available. The mystery of Ros Dover's disappearance, which occurred in Book II, will be revealed. The truth at the end of the journey, as only the reader will come to understand, is not necessarily what anyone expects. Thanks for watching. Bye now.